Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve talks sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
With Prince Bell, we rocking with Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be here a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in, it's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. I told you I got you. Wanna talk about his game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport, dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is, the real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Eye on the goal. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, to this meet your boy, the real sports guy, another Saturday morning. We want to make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all of that good stuff. We got a big show planned for you today. We've got the NFL to cover. We've got the NBA. We've got World Cup action. And I just can't wait to get into it. It's me again, the real sports guy. He is the Sandman's Andy Sands. Andy, what's going on, bro?
Steve Taylor, big news out of the Sanzata household. We got a new house. We had our contract accepted yesterday, going for the inspection. So thanks everybody for the continued prayers and solid support that we've received throughout the process. I think we found our forever house, Steve. We're really excited, but that also means that in a few months this is not going to look the same. So little changes coming, but hey man, I'm excited. The sun's out. You know, it's game day, right? Listen, we only got 2 more. Well, hopefully 4 more. But anyways, 1 week away from the game. Like that's to me, that's the most exciting part. And it's my wife's favorite holiday week. It's Thanksgiving, man. It's coming. Thursday.
Big show for you, man. Let's see what we got hot off the press.
All right, Steve. Well, a very somber start to the show today. Earlier this week, we heard about the shooting in the University of Virginia, and just such a tragic situation, period. But to have 3 young men, 3 athletes whose future was, ahead of them, it's just real sad. And, I think the university did the right thing by canceling the game in all games this weekend and giving these other students a chance to cope with the severity of the reality of the situation, I should say. These were the 3 young men that unfortunately had their lives taken. And then, what lies ahead for Christopher Jones, because he is the lone survivor, right? He's got to deal with all of that moving forward. So, hopefully he'll be able to get some assistance to get through that. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it really is. And this thing, and please don't take what I'm getting ready to say for anything but what it's worth. Okay, Christopher Jones was crying out. I'm not saying what he did and the end result was right, but he was crying out for help. And see, this is where we need to pay attention to people, man, in the future, man, in society, man. People just want help, man. If we'd have helped Christopher Jones, man, these 3 young men would be playing football today.
Yeah, and I misspoke. I thought Christopher Jones was the player that survived. He's not. He's the suspect. So my apologies for that. But But yeah, so just a tough week for the University of Virginia. But hats off to the athletic department and the coaching staff for not putting the pressure on the rest of the team to have to play a game today. So that was the right call to me.
Okay, so hey, look here, man. That was the somber stuff, man. Let's get into the quick hitters.
Quick hitters.
All right, partner. Well, earlier this week, the Major League Baseball season officially came to a complete end because all the awards were handed out. We're going to highlight the biggest ones. The MVP race wasn't really a race. As long as Aaron Judge broke that record, you knew he was going to win it. Paul Goldschmidt helped the Cardinals get back to the playoffs. He was the choice in the National League. Justin Verlander wins his third Cy Young, deservedly so. And then you had Jose Alcantara from the Miami Marlins win it in the National League. And I'm going to be a homer just for a minute here, Steve Taylor, okay? Tito is the best manager in professional baseball. For him to take what that team had and do what he did, and oh, by the way, this is the third time he's won it with Cleveland alone. Hats off to Tito and Buck Showalter getting the Mets back to prominence. So those were the winners for the Major League Baseball awards this year.
Yeah. Good job on that, Andy. I have to give you credit on that, buddy. Good job.
Appreciate
Good
that,
job.
sir. Thank you very
Hey, look
much.
here, man. My quick hitter takes us, man, back to last Saturday night at UFC 281, where we get to the main event, Andy. And Israel Adesanya is ahead on all of the scorecards, brother. Hey, man, and the thing that gets me is that what people did not see was the check kick that he got that really nullified everything he was doing in the cage. And he gets caught with the big right hand and on the cage, and it was all she wrote. Man, Pereira is a very large man. Man, my hat's off to him. He knew he was trailing. The champion again was ahead on all three scorecards, and it happened again, Andy. And man, it's it's people starting to think maybe he's got his number, but I tell you what, you really got to tip your hat off, man, to Alex Pereira.
For sure. And didn't Adesanya get arrested in an airport earlier this week?
He got stopped for carrying brass knuckles, man. Come on, man.
Right.
We talking about come on.
Yeah. Hey, Steve Taylor, breaking news out of the NFL. There's 3 feet of snow in Buffalo, so the game got moved to Ford Field in Detroit. And the reason it got moved to Detroit, one, it's an indoor facility, so they don't have to worry about any other possible elements. And two, the Buffalo Bills are the home team, even though Cleveland's closer to Detroit. But Buffalo stays in Detroit to play the Lions on Thanksgiving on Thursday. So big advantage for the Bills here, right?
Yeah. Just don't break no tables, man. And, clean up after yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
That was the message that the Lions left on Twitter to the Bills. Close up, turn the lights off, lock up, and don't break any tables.
Don't break no tables, man. Hey, man. And so the saga continues, man, in New Jersey, man, where Kevin Durant now, he calls out his teammates. Now, I don't know if you saw this, okay, but he started naming guys off. Now, look here. Now, I'm going to tell you, as former teammates, I still refer to Kaz. I'm talking about Kaz Merrick, Tom Kaz Merrick, that's his name. But Kaz is Kaz, okay? What you do is you call out guys, man, by their names, that you're accustomed to calling to. But when you start calling out whole names of people, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neal, Edmund Summer. He said, look at our lineup. We got these guys and Nick. He's got one guy that he likes. He likes Nick Claxton. So you just saying the team is bums. That's what I got out of it. Man, KD, Kyrie's coming back. Something's got to give real soon. Stay tuned. Saga continues.
Steve, the East is deep this year. They can't be messing around here. They're going to have to go on a winning streak soon to be taken seriously. I mean, you had people picking them to win the East at the beginning of the season. They're not even in the play-in right now.
Hey, let's get it all by the way.
Oh, by the way.
All right, well, we just got done talking about the NBA. We're going to stick with the basketball theme. Steve Taylor, did you know that it's not only white men can't jump? A lot of people used to think that women couldn't jump, but that's being defied as well. Check this out. South Carolina forward Ashlyn Watkins dunking off of a steal. Steve, she's not even 6 feet tall. She's got the up.
Man, freshmen and the rich keep getting richer because, oh, by the way, they're the defending national champion. I'm just saying, Andy, oh, by the way, guess what? I've got breaking news. We didn't get the fight we wanted, Andy, but we got the next best thing. Ryan Garcia against Tank Davis. Are you serious? We're talking about two fighters that are in the prime of their careers. Ryan Davis, he's coming in at 22-0 with 19 knockouts. Tank Davis, 27-0, 23 knockouts, man. These two guys are at the top of their games. I can't wait to see this one. It's going to be epic.
Well, the fight you were talking about was the Spence Crawford fight, right? That
Exactly.
was not happening.
Exactly.
Yes, it's going to happen eventually, but just not when we wanted it to. So that's a pretty good plan B, right? For boxing fans, at least.
Well, if you're a boxing fan, that is pretty darn good. It don't get much better than that. And I tell you what else it don't get much better than. The hurry up.
Hurry up.
Oh, yeah, Steve Taylor. We're talking about soccer and a lot of it because the World Cup starts tomorrow. And here we go. In Qatar, can Team USA win? A lot of people outside of the United States are asking that question. It's just not here at home, my friend. This team is the best chance that this country will ever have at winning the men's World Cup. Christian Pulisic leads a star-studded roster if they can stay healthy. And Steve, the same element they're going to have to battle is the same one everybody else is going to have to battle, and that's the heat. It's going to be over 100 degrees on that field throughout the entire World Cup, okay? But it starts on Monday afternoon. Team USA against Wales at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I believe this game is either on Fox or FS1. You and I are not soccer guys.
It's going to be on FS1. Okay, I may not be a soccer guy, but
it's the World Cup.
Let me tell you, pump your brakes on wanting USA or expecting the USA to win. Look, let me just say this. Imagine a country like, let's just say Australia, that just decided to get up and play basketball and say, let's go beat the Americans at what they do. Well, this is in essence what the USA team is trying to do. We're trying to beat them at their sport. Are you serious? I hope they do well, but I don't expect it. I'm just saying.
Let me just clarify something. I am not picking Team USA to win, okay? I'm just saying the pundits are speaking about them more than they ever have going into the tournament. Okay?
Let me take one word. Brazil. Brazil.
Hey, everybody said that last time, and Italy won. Just saying.
Brazil.
All right, moving on. Let's get some storylines.
You gotta like that, though.
I do.
You gotta like Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil.
Well, we had some dandies last week, man. It's like teams are lining up to try to get into our segment, right? I mean, doesn't it feel that way? It seems like it.
Yeah. Well, it has to be that way sometimes, on it.
Hey, speaking of has to be, there's no more talk of the 72 Dolphins record having to be in jeopardy, right? Because the Washington Commanders made a statement on Monday night and went in there and said, we don't care if Philadelphia is undefeated. We have a good football team. We might actually have a quarterback now. And if our defense can get healthy, we may still have a say in this division. What a wow. But listen, it was an impressive win. All right. I'm not saying Washington's going to take all those steps. But it looked like the way that they played Monday, they have the potential to possibly scare some people. That's all I'm saying.
Didn't somebody call you and say, Lionel Richie and the Commodores are going to win on Monday night? I said, it is Monday night. Okay? Yes. And Philadelphia promptly went out and tagged because they went out and they got in Dominican soup because people, they got pushed around like a shopping cart for 40 minutes. The defense forced four turnovers. However, the offense had the ball for 40 minutes, man. Okay? So you have to be doing something on offense to have the ball for 40 minutes. And we saw what could happen against the Eagles. And this is why I was at cause to pause against the Eagles, because this is what can happen in the first round of the NFL playoffs. You can be one and done if you don't know how to swim in deep water. And the Eagles couldn't.
Impressive win by Washington. And the right decision, by the way, by Coach Rivera to stay with Taylor Heineke.
With Lionel Richie. With Lionel Richie. I mean, Taylor Heineke.
Listen, a lot of teams would like to have a guy like Taylor Heineke as their quarterback right now. All right, maybe the game of the year, Steve. Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings. I mean, this almost had the same finish that Buffalo and Kansas City had in the AFC Championship last year, right? I mean, Minnesota goes down. They take the lead. Everybody thinks the game's over. You left too much time on the clock. Not so fast. Josh Allen does what Josh Allen seems to like to do in the fourth quarter. Takes them down, ties the game. But then the defense gets an interception to win it. But Steve, this game featured one of, if not the greatest catch that we have ever seen. And because of that, we have a bonus. Did you see that dude this week? You ready for this?
I mean, dude made the catch of the year. Man, if he don't make that catch, there's no way they win this game.
On 4th and 18, Justin Jefferson steals the ball with one hand from the defender who was using two hands and pulls it in. And you know what that means? He gets the sticker. That's what that means. All right, before we move on to the next game, though, give me your thoughts.
But let's go back just for a second. Timeout. Just rewind that. Okay, because see, what I want to go back and look at is how the Minnesota Vikings won the game. It was on the bot snap in the end zone by Josh Allen. And when you go back to that, Josh Allen is usually taking the ball from where? And from where? From the shotgun.
Yeah.
And now you condense the offense. You know, again, things that are not buttoned up. When I had cause for pause in the beginning of the season, I said these things that Brian Daboll had tightened up. They were buttoned up. Would Ken Dorsey have the same effect? And in big situations, we've seen Ken Dorsey come up short. We saw him flip his lid in one game where he just started throwing things. You know, we had a segment, You Mad Bro, where he was throwing stuff. Okay, this is starting to become a habit, Ed. It's starting to become a habit. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Here's my thing on that, too. On the fumble, take the safety, you win the game. Don't snap the ball.
Damn that, snap the ball. It's the NFL, man. Your job is to snap the ball.
All right.
I totally disagree with that. Snap the damn ball. I mean, come on. What more simpler play can it be than change from center to quarterback, man?
I'm just saying the math. I'm just saying
if you snap the damn ball, you ain't giving up a damn touchdown.
Speaking of giving up touchdowns, what the hell was this? Green Bay looked like they might have been able to turn their season around, and then Thursday night happened. So that was the end of that.
Well, here's the thing, man. Green Bay finally had a good game plan. Okay, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, what do best? They get after your quarterback. They make your quarterback have nightmares. Okay, so what do you do with them? You ground them and you pound them, and that's exactly what Green Bay did. They got these guys all day. They kept running the ball downhill, These dudes are lighting the you know what. Hey man, look here. You get these offensive linemen that's lining up and firing off the ball. You saw the end result in that, man. Look, Dallas, you better buckle up because it's coming at you for the rest of the season. The blueprint is wrong.
They got the Vikings today, then they got the Giants on Thursday. Tough sledding for the Dallas Cowboys.
Just tell me.
All right, speaking of the Cowboys, they're in our pick 6 today. Last week, it didn't go so well. Ugh, jeez. Yeah, can we just forget about that one? All right. Detroit at the Giants. Both teams are going to play on Thanksgiving, Steve, so it's a short week for both teams. But I just think that, you know, the Lions are always looking ahead to the Thanksgiving game every year when this happens. And I know they beat Chicago last week, but you're not getting the Giants at home, so I'll take the Giants.
Not so fast, my friend. The Giants are terrible at stopping the run. What do the Detroit Lions do well? Well, they run the football. They possess the football. Man, this is a classic trap game for the New York Giants. They got the Cowboys on Thursday. The Lions are going to be on a 2-game winning streak. Give me the Lions.
All right. Jets at the Patriots. The last time the Patriots played the Jets, they figured out how to stop Zach Wilson. This is in New England, okay? I know the Jets have revenge on their mind, but Bill Belichick at home with a chance to make a statement and say not so fast in the division. I just can't trust Zach Wilson against that defense, so I'm taking New England at home.
You know, my man, like, if you go back to that first game, if John Franklin Myers doesn't hit the quarterback late, Sauce Gardner has a pick 6, and this game is totally different, okay? And still, it took 3 Zach Wilson turnovers for the Patriots to win. That's not going to be the case this time. The Jets will win this. Give me the Jets.
All right, we talked about Dallas slipping up against Green Bay. They're going into Minnesota. Minnesota 8-1, coming off a high, winning that Buffalo game. Dallas thinking about the Giants. I don't know, Steve. Dallas has to have this game more than Minnesota. I think they're going to find a way to go in and win it on the road. So surprisingly, because I've been with the Vikings all season and I'm still with them, but for this one, I just have a feeling Dallas is going to bounce back. So I'll take the Cowboys.
You know, last week, we've been talking about the Vikings, and you went against the Vikings last week.
I did, and it bit me in the ass, I know.
Okay. And it's going to do it again this week. Give me the Vikings.
All right, let's get to the poll. We're running out of show.
Man, yeah, we are, man. It has been fun, but we've got to run. Let's pick it up a little bit. Let's go head to head.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
All right, last week, man, it's a rough week for me. It was 1-5 in the 2 picks. Ouch. So, you know, let's see if I listen to Steve Taylor this week or not. 3 big games. And who you got this week, right? Just remember, folks, this segment is the spreads, not who wins the game. That's what messes me up. All right, I'm still trying to figure that one out. But try to figure this one out. Which team's going to show up today, right? I mean, that's really what this comes down to. It's at UCLA, and USC is favored on the road. They brought Lincoln Riley in. They brought Caleb Williams in to get to the college football playoffs. Steve, they lose this game, that's gone. Forget it. They have to win this game. I've been saying all along, the Pac-12 will not have a team in the playoff. and I think it's because of this. UCLA, in an upset, beats USC today.
You know, that's the one thing that does frighten me is because the ability of UCLA to run the football. But the one thing that Lincoln Riley does is he dials it up offensively. Caleb Williams is one of the top 5 passers in America because of Lincoln Riley. I think that travels today. Give me USC.
All right. Another big game in the Pac-12. Oregon and Utah. This one is at Oregon, I believe. Right?
It's at Utah.
It is at Utah. Okay. All right. Bo Nix hurt himself in the loss against Washington last week. He may not play in this game. I am not taking that chance. I'm going to just play it safe and take Utah to cover and win, and they go on to win the Pac-12.
Well, if you go back and look at the last 2 meetings of these teams, last year they played twice. Utah pushed Oregon around like a shopping cart both times. I don't think much has changed, especially in between those 2 lines, the offensive and defensive lines. I think Utah is more physical than Oregon. I think that Utah would have won regardless if Bo Nix is in. I'm going to give up the 2.5. Give me the Utes.
All right, and then the final game today, TCU and Baylor. This is a bigger test than people think for TCU, okay? This is one of those games where you have to look at your opponent, not their record, because this is Baylor's bowl game. This is Baylor's conference championship. They can destroy the hopes of TCU going to the football playoff if they win the game. But I like Max Duggan and what TCU has been able to do over the last 10 weeks. And I don't see that changing, Steve. And Baylor's without their starting quarterback because he's been hurt throughout the year. I just don't trust Baylor in this situation. I don't think they can do what everybody else wants to see them do, which is get TCU out of there. TCU, again, on the road.
Just go back and look at the last 7 games between these. TCU has won 6 of the last 7. Okay? After today, it'll be 7 of the last 8. Man, the Horned Frogs are playing good football. Give me TCU and that 5th-year senior quarterback, Max Duggan.
Their defense is impressive too, Steve. That's another reason they're undefeated. And I think that will make a big difference today as well.
Hey, man, this is what everybody's been waiting on, Andy. It's been this week's college poll.
You've heard the rest. Now here's the best. It's the Keeping It Real Sports College Football Poll.
All right, we're going to fly through these, right? So let's go. We got Clemson falling down to 10. They got Miami. That's a win. Clemson's on their way to the ACC Championship to play North Carolina.
Well, actually, we got them back in the top 10. They fell out, man. They had a impressive win against Louisville last week. Clemson, they've got a big win, a tested edge Miami, but we got them at number 2.
We've been high on Utah all year, Steve. I think they're finally going to show everybody why we were as they finish out this season and go on to win the Pac-12. They're at number 9.
Impressive last week, man, 42-7 over Stanford. Big test today against Oregon. They've been up and down, man, but Dewey, like the Utes, we put them in at the beginning of the year. They're at number 9 right now.
USC, UCLA, we talked about it. This should have been a top 10 matchup, but UCLA choked one away against Arizona. I think Arizona woke up UCLA. This rivalry will define their season. UCLA wins, but USC at number 8.
First time in 20 years that both of these teams have been over at 180% of the games. It's going to be a classic showdown today. But the Trojans, they tip in at number 8.
Alabama staying steady right there at number 7.
Man, we had, they roughed out a big win over Ole Miss last week. They get Austin Peay, so they get a breather this week. But the Crimson Tide, is there anybody that really think that there's more than 6 teams that are better than Alabama Crimson Tide? If you need to get your head straight.
LSU. Big win in Arkansas. It wasn't pretty, Steve, but Perkins came to play. He had a huge game and made a huge difference.
And that's the thing about LSU. They didn't. Brian Kelly finally didn't choke up after a big win and followed that up with a big loss. They were able to hold steady, hold serve. They got the win. It wasn't pretty. They get a layup today against UAB.
Tennessee right there at number 5. Again, their only loss to Georgia. We got to have them there. I think this game might be a little closer than most expect, but they're still going to beat South Carolina today.
Well, here's the thing with Tennessee, Andy, is Tennessee has to show its ability to be able to play on the road. We've seen all of their big-time scoring outputs. They've been at home. That has not traveled. They admittedly said in the Georgia game, it was the crowd that got to them. Well, I tend to disagree. I saw the Georgia defense getting after you. But if you say the crowd has something to do with it, then maybe you need to show us a little something at South Carolina today.
Number 4, we talked about them earlier when we picked the game. TCU riding steady. Steve, a lot of people don't want to see this team get to the playoff, but I promise you if they finish the season undefeated, they will be there.
And man, I love the way that he has this team, man, just dialed in. Man, last week they didn't give up a defensive touchdown to Texas. And Texas scored its touchdown on a fumble recovery that the defense ran in. Their defense came to play. The Horned Frogs got after it. They made life difficult for Texas. They're going to do the same thing to Baylor today.
That team up north, 1 week away, Steve. 1 week away. They better not overlook Illinois today, or that screws up everything for next week.
Well, you know, Illinois does have a decent offense, but man, their ability to not stop the run is gonna, man, catch them, man. Michigan, if they can do one thing, they can run the damn football, man. They're gonna come at you. No guesswork involved. Michigan, we got them number 3.
Ohio State with their last road test of the year at Maryland today. Can the Buckeyes not overlook Maryland and get there at 11-0 next week?
Man, these guys are in the zone, man. They understand, man, what it's all about, man. These guys are judged against a different type of standard. It's called themselves. Every year, they're judged against themselves and what they've done in previous years. And this year is no different. The offense is up to task. The defense is getting better and better each week. They're rounding up into a great big matchup next week. I can't wait.
And number 1. Can't argue this one. Georgia, maybe a little bit of a test with Kentucky because Will Levis is capable of pulling an upset, but I think they're locked in maybe more than Ohio State is right now, Steve. Georgia on their road to another SEC championship game.
And when you look at the Georgia Bulldogs, all you see is guys, man, that play on Sunday, man, playing on Saturday, man. These guys jump off the page. That defense is no joke, man. You really have to like what they do defensively. And Stetson Bennett, he is definitely not a cologne. He is a quarterback.
All right, before we go, we talked about a bonus one earlier, but it's time for the real one in the college game. See that dude. Who we got this week, partner?
No, usually, man, it's always something. And usually, man, we just kind of show you a steal. But I'm going to show you the steal. But what Will Shipley, believe it or not, did. But see, sometimes, Andy, you know, I just have to show you better than I can tell you. Take a look.
After they step it off, Shipley fires ahead. At the 10, he hurdled the man. Touchdown.
We said they needed more Shipley, but who saw that coming? I mean,
did you see that dude? Give him the sticker, Andy.
This that over the last, it seems like what, maybe 5-7 years, that jumping over the defender, leaping over the defender, is become a norm, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, that was impressive. Don't get me wrong, but it's not something that you don't see. It seems like we almost see something like that every week, doesn't it? Not to that extent,
break
but
two
you know,
tackles to go in after you jump the dude.
I just said not something like that, but similar.
That dude.
Listen.
Man, it's been fun, but we gotta run, man. Hey, man, thanks to all our new listeners, man. Wendy, Richter. Oh, man, what a story, man. I can't wait to share more about the Wendy Richter story and her brother Doug, man. We'll talk more about that, man. But thanks, man, for all of our new listeners. There's been a ton of new listeners, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you get this every week and tell us what you like. And we love it when you chime in, man. I'm your boy, the Real Sports Guy. But it's saying, man, it's been fun, but we got to run. Until next week.
We wish you love.
And peace. Deuces.